Good morning, welcome to Friday NFP. I hope you're doing well. Okay, bear with me for a second. Let me fix something over here. All right. So it's a Friday NFP week, and today I suggest you sit on your hands and wait until after the NFP release, and then see what price does, and then you can obviously go in and start doing what you want to do. I don't recommend trying to predict. Okay, but because of that, so what I'm looking for is potential move back up. You can see where my fib is. I was anticipating a reversal here, and there seems to be reversing. I'm not convinced yet because of this candle. Right, I'm not convinced that we are going up yet because of this candle. So if we're gonna go up, I want to see NFP trade above this gap. So I want to see them take price above this, the opening price here. I want to see price trade above it. If we do, then we might come up here. For now, from the way this candle is taking out this low, right, the way that candle is taking out that low, it looks to me that it might attack this sell side liquidity. All right, so that's why I'm saying wait till after the NFP, because when it comes out, it can only do two things. Either they're gonna go up or they're gonna go down, and at this junction it can go anywhere. If they trade above this, I'm bullish, but if they go lower, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I'm looking for bullish price action. So if they send it lower, then I'll have to come back next week and see what price is going to do. Okay, now historically, the reason why I'm looking for higher prices is historically dollar goes up during this time of the year. In 2020, I caught a beautiful buy here, right? So that's that movement there. Okay, it's a short term rally, but nevertheless it's always there. Okay, so and it starts from the 5th, so today's date is the 5th, and it went up. I think last year 2021 it did the same thing. Yeah, here. Right, it started from the 4th, and then we started going up as well. Right, so because of that, I'm anticipating bullish price action because it's a seasonal move. Right, so if it's a seasonal move, then I'm anticipating up rather than down. So if the NFP comes out, or when it comes out, I want to see them attempt to take price higher. Like I said, if it goes lower, then that's something else. I will have to be on the sidelines and wait because I'm not familiar with that price action. Okay, so that means euro, I'll be anticipating that. I'm anticipating that. Right, pound, that is relatively weak. They have engineered equal low over here, so I'll be anticipating this move to the downside. Okay, New Zealand, same thing. It's currently in premium. Let me shift that to 70.5. It's in premium. I'll be anticipating that to also reject. So it's 50-50, right? Price is at a junction where it can go anywhere, but historically, if you're looking at history, then it should move lower. But I'm not going to marry that bias, because by marrying the bias, if it doesn't do it, then confusion will set in. So I want to stay neutral, and I'll let price lead. Once price leads, I'll follow. So if they break market structure with the NFP, I know that we're going lower, so I can find a fair value gap, OTE. I'll find something to get in to continue going lower. Okay, same thing applies to Aussie. Aussie is also trading. They are all trading in premium currently. Right, Aussie is also trading in premium. So let's see what the NFP will give us in regards to what the majors is gonna do. But I've given you what I'm anticipating, right? So if they do reject, then you look for a continuation to that side. If it goes higher, be careful, because it can just go up to take out stops and then come back down again. So even if it goes up, watch it and then see, does it reject. I've given tips on how to anticipate stop rates. If you were not here, watch, I think it was last Wednesday or last week Friday, right? Last week, it was just this Wednesday gone, or last week Friday. You can watch that session and then see the tips that I gave when you want to anticipate a stop rate. Okay. Dollar CAD, I was looking for a buy over here and it didn't give me. So my bias is for price to trade above this high and come and close in this gap. Right, that's my bias for dollar CAD. Yesterday, my group, we were looking for OTA to form here because we predicted that this candle was going to be an order block, so we wanted to see a retracement to OTA, and we missed it by few pips. Right, it only came to 50% and then went higher. Had it come to 618, we would have been a nice buy, going to attack this equal high. So that OT is still there because they didn't touch it, so you can use that range, and if we do retrace, you can look for the buy. On Wednesday, Wednesday 3rd, we talked about this being OTE and them going up, and I think I shared a secret source of anticipating stop rates. I can't remember if I did do it here. Not the one that I shared with the fib. Okay, not the one that I shared with the fib. I think I didn't share it on here. I shared it with my private group. I showed them how to or where to anticipate stop rate. It did that here. Yeah, I will show it at the end of this session. Okay, at the end of this session, or towards the end of the session, I will touch on that. So someone should remind me when I finish everything that I will show you how to anticipate stop rates. Okay, I think what I shared last Wednesday was the buying the swings, right? That's what I shared. I don't remember sharing the stop rates with you guys. So yeah, you can see that pattern that I just drew. Okay, that's why I was anticipating the OTE to form here and then go up, but they went to 50%. So that's still there. I like that low can be inducement with the news. Right, with the NFP, it can drop down, take out this low, and then go for that. So I'm looking for this as the target, and then a run above this high, and then we will talk about this high. Okay, so someone remind me when I finish. Euro pound, that was my target, and they went there like business as usual. I did anticipate them going there, but I didn't participate in that. And the reason why I anticipated price going there is because we've had 1, 2, 3 price dropping and coming back up. It's not dropping like this, right? So this to me, it's accumulation. I don't do Wyckoff, but it's sort of Wyckoff accumulation, right? So couple that with, I think I've shared that with this low. That's what led me to believe that they might take price higher. Why? Because we have a pattern that like this on the higher time frame. So because we rated and then we're going up, left a short-term low in here and went up, price comes back down, this is where this pattern is forming down here, right? So because of that, I anticipated them running higher to take out this. That will confirm a breaking structure, and then we will start looking for price to go up. So that's what the euro pound did. So right now, if you look at the daily, you can see a big rejection. That to me is a change in the state of delivery, or is a break in market structure. So we will see price trading higher going forward. I would like to see them close in this gap. Right, I want to see them closing the gap. So going going into next week, you can look for potential buy ideas to close in this gap, or simply put, we have this high, we have that low, you want to trade to 50% of that range. Okay, also, I'm giving you several confluences so you understand why. We're also coming up from the 2.7 level. We've closed back above the 0, so usually price is going to trade to Y. Again, this has been shared on the channel. You can how to use the fib. We want to trade up to 0.50, and 0.25 is on the way, so that can be used as a target. Okay, so that being a target, the 50% of that range also being a target, and then the 0.50 also being a target. All right, so it's your job to find entry to take you to those levels. Like this down candle, that's a breaker, so they might accumulate over there. Also, if you are a market maker fan, buy and sell model fan, we do have consolidation down here, and then we pop, right? So we'll be looking for some measure of reaccumulation in here, hence the breaker. So maybe they might take out this candle's low and then push high again. We have a redistribution here. We didn't have much redistribution, just this and that, and then we went sideways. So I will anticipate them going for this candle's low or the high, and that will give you OTE on the upside. Yeah, right here. So everything lines up. So there's lots of confluences that indicating price wants to go higher. Gold, at the beginning of the week, I was looking for gold to trade down here before going up. I was excited on Wednesday here because I felt like they were going to take price down, and to my surprise it just went up. Now this is one of the things that caught me off in 2019 that led me to was it 2019? Yeah, 2019 It gave me, I won't say a nervous breakdown, but it did actually affect my trading. But it happened in May, 2019 May, where I was anticipating something similar. At the time it was equal low, and price looked like it was, for example, something like this, right? Notice we have equal low here. So price was here. Let's say price is here, and I'm looking for that equal low to be attacked. Now at the time, because I was so strongly biased, when I say strongly biased, when I pick a bias, I find it hard to give up that bias. So looking at that equal low, seasonal tendency was saying price was gonna continue going lower. So I kept selling, and when price got almost to that equal low, it pulled back, and then I sold short, and price didn't go down, and I held on to my short for too long, and then price punished me. And at the time, trading psychology wasn't a huge thing on my in my trading. So yeah, it did hurt me. And at the time, I was also trading other people's money, and yeah, that didn't go well. So I learned it the hard way. So when I'm anticipating gold to drop and it doesn't drop, I make sure that I give up that bias. So even though I have a strong bias, or I had a strong bias of price going down for this week, it didn't do it. It did a little bit. I got some trades, but eventually they stopped me out because I use a stop loss. If it was before, then this would have kept going, and I kept staring at my account, praying and hoping that it will reverse. Okay, so it looks to me gold doesn't want to come down, so the seasonal trade is on. Next week is when I was going to look for the buy, but it looks like that might not be the case. So next week we are looking for buys. I like all this. Right, it's all just highs. There's no imbalance anywhere. The only imbalance that exists is all the way up here. All right, so you can look for buys to continue going up. I also like the fact that they produced a down candle. Okay, so if you watch the daily, there is a down candle, right? And that immediately spells out a market maker buy model for me. When price is going up and they create a down candle and it doesn't continue and it reverses to go up, that to me spells a market maker buy model, right? So you can see what it's trying to do with just that information. Okay, so we want to look for price to trade higher up here. With the NFP, maybe it might take price into a retracement, and then it will continue going up. So continue looking for buys, don't look for sells, because it's not a selling market. The sells are done, we are now buying. All right, so look up here. Okay, oil. I anticipated them going for this low and that level, and it almost got there and it's rejecting, but I still think they might stab it with the NFP. Right, that low, I still think they might stab it. It's not reversed yet, so
we might get one more run to the downside this week, and I'll talk about it. So remind me, this high, I shorted above that high on Wednesday or Tuesday. I shorted above this high. Actually, I shorted after the rejection. So it went up, took out the high, reject. As soon as that candle closed, boom, I saw short, and then I targeted this low. Alright, so I took a sell here to target this low. And like I said, I'll talk about it towards the end of the session. Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin will trade to this level, 22290. Got the daily. Yeah, depending on how today is gonna close, this might be a run on previous day high, and then it'll come back down again to that level. It's still yet to trade to OTE. It's 50%. So I still think either they're gonna reject, or if it closes above this high, then I'll start looking for buys to go up. But as it is now, I favor a move to this level. Okay, so I will look at this as a run on previous day's high. The lower time frame, it's like it came back to OTE. It just raided these highs, and then it might come back, right? I don't see this as the change in the state of delivery. So look at this and that, and there. So look for a move back down again. Same thing applies to Ethereum. 1548 is my downside objective. This looks to me like a pullback. So for it to confirm as a buy, this candle has to close above that as it's doing right now before I can confirm that we're going to go up. So it's the kind of my logic, or logic that I use. If it wants to confirm higher prices, then it needs to close bullish. If it doesn't close bullish, then we are still bearish, and it's gonna come back down. But if it is able to close above that, then I'll look for a buy, because that will confirm a swing low over here, right? That will confirm a swing low. Okay, so that's for these pairs. If you have any question on them, feel free to ask, and then I'll do my best to answer your question. If not, we are moving on. Okay, so if you are in the Telegram group, right, this week I shared Aussie dollar, beautiful buy from here on a Sunday to go up there, and we got that. And I think Wednesday I mentioned that if we retrace back into this area, that's also gonna cause a buy, right? And we got that. So I got in here after the break. But there are certain things that I use, which, like I said, I'm gonna talk about it, which can get you in as early as somewhere here. If you practice, it can get you in as early as somewhere here. Okay, so I favor a move to the upside to target this high, Okay, I favor a move to go above that high, and probably even higher, because I'm anticipating weakness in Aussie. Let me check historically, because I've not traded this pair in August before, because when we get to August I trade the euro, I trade the yen pairs. So let me check historically if I'm right. There you go, right? That bullish run. That was last year. Let's go to 2020. If we did it in 2020, that's it. I'm convinced we're gonna go up. Yeah, here, right? The drop is retracement and then a move up. So you can say in August, right, we manipulate to the downside and then we go up. So I'll look for continuation to the upside. Okay, I'll look for continuation to the upside on this. I like this candle over here. Right here. I think ICT has shared it on YouTube. It's called a balanced price range. This candle, that candle, right? That's a balanced price range, so that will act as resistance. Ideally, should be here, right? That's where it should be, but this is enough. So I expect them to push higher again, to attack this high and maybe go for that, because that will be OTE, so it needs to complete up here. But this is H4 time frame, so catching a move from down here to up there, that's a lot. 119 pips. Apparently we don't count pips anymore. We count percentage return, so that'll give you probably 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, depending on where your stop loss was. The yen pairs, this week I've done incredibly well with them. I anticipated that pullback, and man, that was beautiful. Yesterday was a bit of a scare, but I felt like it was retracement. The reason why I felt like it was retracement is because we have a volume imbalance here. Okay, we have a volume imbalance in here, right here, and this candle failed to take out this low. Okay, this candle failed to take out this low and it went up. So whilst it was trading during the day, I anticipated what you're seeing here. It's redistribution. What redistribution is if we are going down and we cause an up candle, but that up candle should stay inside the previous down candle. Okay, something like this. Something like this. So anytime price is going down and then you see an up candle that the low and the high is within the previous candle, that's redistribution. They are selling more in that candle. So the next day, what I usually prefer is that it needs to open, take out this high, and then drop aggressively. All right, and that's redistribution. It's a powerful pattern if you have a directional bias. The same thing is to the upside. If price is going up and it gives you something like this, right? So this candle, you have the down candle, the high and low is within that. The next day you want to anticipate them going down to take out that low, and then expansion to the upside should unfold. Many times you're bullish and you see that, expect higher prices. So this, that low taking, higher prices. Okay, so it's a very powerful pattern. If you pay attention to it, you will catch some incredible trades. It's a bit scary because when it's happening, you might get caught off guard. Okay, because this candle will look as if it's going to go up, and especially the next day, when the next day opens and it starts going up, you will, if you are not familiar with this pattern, right, you will think that price is going to continue going up, but in fact it's just going to take out the high and then come back down. Now sometimes it can go as high as this high. If it does that, that's even better, because that will cause the market to drop aggressively. Okay, so pay attention to that pattern. So when I saw that and this drop happened, all I did was pull my fib and buy OTE, because I'm looking for higher prices. So I bought here 70.5. Had to sit through a bit of heat, that's fine, and then eventually you can see they've rejected. I did the same thing for this one as well. Okay, so it's the same thing. I didn't touch this. This one did crazy drop yesterday with the rate announcement, so I didn't touch it. But you are all aware of this, right? I told you on Wednesday that I'm expecting higher prices and I'm interested in these three, the first three. I didn't catch the euro because of the rate announcement on the pound. It does affect euro as well, so I didn't touch that one. But I wish I did, because that did give a really nice buy as well. Okay, so that's it for the yen pairs. I'm not touching these two because they've moved away from OTE, so this might be just a retracement. Going into next week, I'm expecting lower prices, so next week we might get maybe a run and then a move down. So next week we are looking for price to come back down. All right, especially, so next week my attention will be switched back to Aussie yen, New Zealand yen. Okay, because if we are going down, that's the pairs that I'm interested in. But if we are going up, I'm interested in the strong ones. Okay, so New Zealand yen and Aussie yen to me are considered to be weak, right? And then the pound, the euro, the CAD, and the dollar are considered to be strong. So if you are going up, I want to buy those. If you are going down, I want to sell the weak pairs. So it'll be the New Zealand and the Aussie. Have I created a new community? No, I haven't created a new community. Why that question? Did you hear that? Have you heard something? Have you heard something for you to think I've created a community? If you're watching the live session, I'm answering your Telegram question. Okay. Um, Aussie Swiss, absolutely beautiful. Yesterday, we anticipated this happening, and that's what they've done, and it looks gorgeous. But I wanted a retracement to come to OTE for me to catch another sell. I did not catch this. I didn't catch that, unfortunately, but I anticipated it. I wanted to see if they could even go above this high, which would be the discussion for later today. I wanted to see them go for this high rather and then break down, but they didn't. Let me go and check. Okay, I like what is happening so far on the Aussie pairs. New Zealand Swiss, same thing. I wanted a little bit higher before the move down. Again, I was looking for the reversal to happen above this high, but they gave it there. So I was looking for a pullback to this, but I think I should have just used OTE. I didn't even get there. NFP is coming, so maybe you never know, they can take it up there. So keep that level. Okay. Keep this. There's a gap, there's a breaker. OTE. Right, keep that one. And the same thing as this. Yeah. Trading can be lonely. I did a session. Okay. My bad, guys. I'm answering question at the same time. I did a session, I think last week, and I talked about was it here? Nowadays I get myself confused because I do lots of live sessions, so I get myself confused whether I was talking here or I was talking with my private group. I think it was my private group. I was talking to them about when whilst you're trading, right, you need to figure out your reason why you're trading. And I said that it has nothing to do with money. It has something to do with your life purpose. Okay, it has something to do with your life purpose. Now I'm gonna say this here because I've said it other places, so I'm gonna say this here. My everybody has got a purpose in life. Okay, everybody has got one. Now, as I was going through a personal spiritual journey, personal spiritual say move not awakening, growth. When I was going through my personal spiritual growth, one of the things that I got was my ability to explain things for people to understand, clarity, and the experience that I have in the market was communicated to me that my purpose or my mission is to help individuals that are growing or that wants to learn how to trade. I should help them with my knowledge, right? Okay. Right. I should help them with my knowledge, and anyone that comes to me to learn, they have got a life purpose, but in order for them to achieve that life purpose, they need to have um, freedom, right? They need to have freedom, freedom in the sense that um, you don't need to be constrained with time. So you don't have someone telling you when to do something, when not to do something, when to take a holiday, when not to take a holiday, that kind of thing. And once you get that freedom, then it allows you to be able to actually do your life purpose. Okay, so one of the things, as you learn, as you're growing, you need to find out your life purpose. You need to find out what you're supposed to be doing with your life. It's not trading. It's not about trading, because if it was about trading, trading is just to make money, right? And money, you can make it doing a whole lot of things. Okay, it's just that trading is a kind of a, I don't say easy, because it's not easy, but it's a good way to earn, right? And not depend on someone. Okay, so it's an avenue that can create for you um, the freedom that you're looking for. But that freedom that you're looking for, it's for you to actually find your purpose in life. Okay, you need to spend time and find your purpose in life, and then as you become full time, then you start doing your life purpose. Because if you just say you're gonna trade, trust me, that can even lead to you over trading, that can lead you to struggling, because you have free time, and in your free time, as long as the market is open, and as long as you in your head you think that you are um, the um, the genius in trading, it's gonna cause you to trade, right? It's like that desire. I'm good at trading, the market is open, I'm free, I have free time, I'm gonna trade, right? And then that can lead to, obviously, if you are in the market, it's a two-edged sword. It's either it's gonna go your way or it's gonna go against you. But being in the market a lot of time, it's not good. Okay, so you need to find out what your life purpose is, so that as you become independent, you move towards your life purpose. You don't sit and trade. You move towards your life purpose. The trading becomes a vehicle to help you to get to your life purpose. So if your life purpose is to, I don't know, be a teacher, right? Then trade, but move to that life purpose and teach. If your life purpose is to become, I don't know, whatever, right? Then let the trading be the instrument that gives you the freedom to be able to pursue that. And you're not gonna give up trading because you'll be good at it, but you have that confidence to know when to trade, when not to trade, because you get experience, and you still have your life purpose. Now that life purpose can be anything, right? It doesn't have to be a job, right? You move beyond job. It has to be something that is kind of liberating, something that you're happy doing, but at the same time it'll pay you. Okay, so it can be I don't know. Mine is doing what I'm doing, right? You have to find yours. Everybody's different, so mine is doing what I'm doing. That keeps me busy. And that keeps me always engaged. You have to find yours, and as you move into profitability, trading is very, very boring. I'm gonna tell you that. when you know what you're doing and you are sitting there waiting for the trade to set up because you know what you're looking for. Like for example, yesterday, right, or all week, I've been sitting there watching this pair go up and I'm anticipating a sell, right? And if it doesn't form a sell, I cannot sell it. So what are you going to do in that time? Are you just going to sit there and stare at the screen, or are you going to do something else, right? So that's why it's important for you to, as you learn this, develop your, or get to know your life purpose. All right. So just for you to know, that's why you're finding it lonely. You need to find a hobby. Okay, you need to find a hobby. If not, it's always going to be like that. Anyway, G card. Amazing sell. I think Wednesday. Let me see Wednesday's date. Wednesday was on the 3rd. On the 3rd, we had a session, and we were up here. And I mentioned that I'll be looking for price to go for this low, and this gap is gonna reject and take us there. And eventually, they did. Right, it went there like clockwork. Right, with the aid of the rate announcement on pound, it went quicker. I shorted, but I got out here because this to me was a bullish dealing range, so I'm not gonna get out like right here. I was not gonna do that. I wanted to initially when it was dropping, but as soon as it rejected, I was like, okay, that's it for me. Because if I short here and I want to get out there and it rejects here, to me that's OTE. That's it, done. Close it. And then it came right back up, but I did not sell yesterday. I left it alone, and then it went down. So that also did very well for this week. But for now, I don't know what it's gonna do because they've engineered equal low. Right, they've engineered equal low. So I don't know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna come back, or it's gonna go up? Based on logic, it should come back up here, but anything can happen and they can smash this before coming up. Okay, indices. I'm looking for them to drop into discount and then go up and then come back down again. Based on the seasonal movement, we do have a low forming in mid-August, and then it goes up and comes back down to form a low in September, October, 30th September / 1st October, and then we go back up again. So I'm looking for maybe some kind of a push to the downside, back up, back down, back up, and then back down again. So we have this high, we have this low, so we're gonna trade inside this range and then back down again because it's in a bearish market. So this is just liquidity, this is liquidity, this is the range, high and low, and we want to see OTE to go down. Nice drawing. If you go into the monthly, you understand what you will see what I mean. This is where we had a rate, and this is where we have a rate. So that defines our dealing range. Bearish because we are going down. So this is where we're currently at. Right? So in a bearish dealing range, we want to see price trade into premium and then go down. But seasonals plays a big role, so we want to see signals confirming every movement. And then right, something like that. Would you explain seasonal movement in brief? So when I say seasonal movement, what I'm referring to is what price does every year that are a repeating phenomenon. Basically, when we get to every month, what is likely to happen? Is price likely to go up or is it likely to go down? That's what seasonal tendency provides. Okay, and since I discovered it in 2019, I've not let it go. I've always been a huge fan of seasonal tendencies. Why? Because it's real data. Okay, it's real data showing you what history has done. Okay, and since history repeats itself, and the reason why I also like using the seasonal tendencies is because think about let's say a company, right? If you're a companies runs on procedures or rules. So if a company's procedure is to pay their members at the end of every month, let's say 28th, right? And then you can predict that 28th someone is gonna get paid, right? So same thing, if currencies are moving like this, if you use this analogy that every 28th people get paid, then 28th you have to expect that someone is going to get paid in the company. Or if, for example, Coca-Cola, I use Coca-Cola because it's a big company. If they pay their European distribution, right? If they pay them at the end of every quarter, right, every 3 months, and they use euro, or they convert dollars, because it's an American company, they convert dollars to euros every 3 months. It means that every 3 months Coca-Cola will do what? Will buy euros, right? And if I can track that buy that they do every 3 months, that's a seasonal thing. So you can kind of more or less predict that there's a particular time in every 3 months that Coca-Cola does what? A buy on euro to pay its distributors in Europe. Okay, so that's the same thing when it comes to seasonal tendency. Seasonal tendency is like that, something that happens on a yearly basis, and it's predictable. It's not always going to be 100%, but it is predictable. So, for example, I'm expecting where is it gone? I'm expecting weakness in euro from the 6th of August. So let's say 6th of August is and 6 is Saturday, so it might happen today, as you can see, or Monday. If 6th of August is the day that Coca-Cola initiates its business to sell euros for some reason, then it makes sense that when we hit 6th of August, I look for bearish price action. Okay, I don't want to look for bullish price action, because bullish price action would interest me, right? I'll look for bearish price action. So that's what seasonal tendency is. And you get that from MRCI, they've got the best, mrci.com. I've been using it for the last since 2019, so we are getting to almost 4 years. 4 almost 4 years I've been using it. But the first year and a half using it, it was not great. I did get some great trades, but some of them did punish me, like I mentioned, with gold, right? Gold 2019, I was expecting a drop and it didn't happen. Actually, it was 2018 November, December. That's when I discovered it. So yeah, if you want to find out more information, go to Google, type in mrci.com. It's not free, it's paid. You can get the free ones, the images that has been, it's online, but I don't like the free one. I like the one that I can actually go in and look at specific dates. So I have it here, I'm gonna show you. This is what it looks like, right? The ones that are online, you get a static picture like this, so I can save this as an image, right? And then you have that as a static picture, but that's not the one I want. I want the ability to go in and look at specific dates, right? Like I know that on the 3rd of August there's a drop, so I can anticipate a drop. Or I know that on the 11th of August there's going to be a rally. When you have the static picture, right, you don't have the ability to know the date. Okay, you won't have this. So that's why I pay to get this. Okay, so that's what the seasonal tendency is, and this is mrci.com, More Research Center Inc. All right. Okay, moving on. So that was the indices. I want to see them drop and then go higher and then ultimately drop. So the seasonal buy, right? You hear me talk about seasonal every time you meet me, because to me that's the holy grail. That's what caused me to buy the yen pairs this week. Right, it was the seasonals. If I didn't have the seasonals, I would get caught in that sell that happened last week, and this week I'll look to sell. But thanks to the seasonals, I anticipated a buy and it did that. What was that? Yeah, back here. So seasonality says we should be forming a low and then go up and then come back and form a low. This is the low that I think ICT has talked about it. If you check the 3 indices, there's going to be a divergence indicating the seasonal buy, and then towards the end of the year we look for a drop to happen because you're in a bearish market now. Okay, any questions so far? Any questions so far before I go to today's topic? What's your view on New Zealand CAD? Let's look at Aussie CAD. Okay, Aussie CAD did trade to that. I don't like that one. I think beginning of the week I told you guys there's a reason why I put the Aussie CAD, right? I don't like the New Zealand CAD. It doesn't look appealing to me. The price action on this doesn't look appealing to me. Okay, so that's why I'm not touching that pair. I did look at it over the weekend, but this doesn't make sense, right? Oops. This used to be a pair that I trade quite a lot. It was my favorite pair back in the day. Yeah, but it fell out of favor. So based on, let me see, I'll look for it to drop, right? I'll look for it to drop. But the way it rejected, right? So you need to pay attention to dealing ranges, okay? Pay attention to dealing ranges. If this had created a dealing range on the upside, then I'll be interested. But I didn't create one on the upside. It actually created one on the downside here, right? That's why price struggled to go down here. So the dealing range is that rate, and then price went up. So on the lower time frame, we have a bullish dealing range. We don't have a bearish dealing range yet, right? But like I said, I could be wrong, and price can do what? Okay, nice. I could be wrong, right? And it can come down, but I would have preferred a bearish dealing range on the upside, and then this pullback here, and then I'll sell short. So the Aussie CAD is a much preferred option. That's why I put the Aussie CAD, right? Because we have a bearish dealing range here. We have raided, and then we close down here. So this is a pullback. So instead of going for the New Zealand CAD, I'd rather go for the Aussie CAD, right? That's why I put the Aussie CAD, because when I was doing the analysis over the weekend, it did have a bearish daily range. It's just that when the market opened, they just decided to go up first, right? And then created another one. So I prefer this. I like what I'm seeing now. It's 9:19. and we've just taken out this Asian high. So if we break down just like yesterday on Aussie Swiss, okay, we took out this high and then breaking down, and then it went down, pull back and down. So here we want this to break. There's nothing wrong selling up here because that's OTE, right, as I indicated earlier. Yeah. Right, there's nothing wrong selling up there. As a matter of fact, I have a sell there, right? But your stop loss is going to be big, and I don't mind it because it's not a trade that I'm looking to get out today, right? I'm looking to get out somewhere down here because I think it's gonna trade back inside this range, so there's room to the downside, but that's the perspective of that trade, okay? But maybe you might not be comfortable taking that trade because you cannot hold on, you don't have that patience like me, so you have to look for a shorter version of that. So, and one of my students is in here who testify back in the day I hold trades for over months, and he couldn't believe I can hold trades like that. It was a myth to him. So you can look for same thing but here, right? So if we break down, then you look for pullback and then you sell short. Yes, seasonal is lining up exactly. So you can take it as a seasonal trade, which is what I'm doing, or you can take it as a day trade or scalp, or whatever you wanna, however you wanna go for it. Okay. So pretty much we've done everything. We've gone through everything. So what's next? Okay, so I think I decided to talk about something. Stop rates. Let's talk about stop rates. Okay, that's a long story. Anyway, let's talk about stop rates. As usual, I like to give you the conceptual understanding first, and then I'll go and show you in the charts. So whenever price is going in a specific direction, and there we go, started our nonsense, are we? Whenever price is going in a specific direction, right, pay attention to the chart, because as it's going up, it does some raids without you being aware. I hate it when my chart does that thing. Let's go here. It's much better. There you go. So you need to pay attention to price when it's going up or down. Okay, pay attention to the rates that you see in the charts, because those rates are very important. They create dealing ranges, okay, for price to come back and go. So it might not be visible, but they are there. It can come in the form of a candle wick like this, right? That's a rate, or it's a stop run on the previous candle, and then it goes up and comes back down and then continue. But you know, conceptually, you look at it this way. When do you want to anticipate a stop rate? You want to anticipate a stop rate when price has already raided a level and then went up. This low becomes hot. This is where stop rates will occur. I'm not gonna go into too much details. This is where stop rates will occur. So if you want to trade stop rates, this is where you trade them. Here. It might take the low, come back into premium and then go down, or it can just continue going up depending on the trend. So same thing here. Can come here and then go up, or it can go down, but nevertheless this is what you're anticipating here. Okay, that's where you, if you want to I know some of you like to trade rate, right, or turtle soup as ICT deems it. If you want to trade turtle soup, this is how you trade it. There has to be a rate prior to, because this one here can just be a breaking structure and then it will continue going up. But if this was a rate and then price rejected, then that becomes a candidate for a raid. Now the logic behind why that will be a raid, it's not, this is not actually what's happening, but in my mind this is how I visualize it. Okay, so I'm not saying this is what actually goes on, but this is how I visualize it. I'm saying to myself that even you, right, with the amount of knowledge that you have in trading, you would think that we have rated here, so if price comes here, you're gonna sell, right? And where are you gonna put your stop loss? Up here. It's logic. I don't think anyone that trades smart money will see this pattern and then take a trade here and leave their stop loss here. Because if you do, and you check your if you do this consistently and you check your trading account, you know why your trading account is not going up. So you're not going to put your stop loss here, right? You're going to put it up there. So the same thing, that if an institution somewhere right, takes out a high to accumulate shorts. Okay, this is my interpretation. Okay, it's not like that, but it's my interpretation. If an institution here, right, buys price up to accumulate sells up there, and it sends price lower, right, what would that happen? Well, if they're selling up here, obviously protective stop is going to be up there. Now think about what I just explained there. I'm not saying you, I'm not saying a retail trader, I'm saying an institution. Okay, so if an institution buys price intentionally up to accumulate sells up there and drop down, their stops is going to be residing above that. So this becomes like a big signboard. Okay, it becomes like a big signboard, like here, right? If again, this is how I see it, or I interpret it. It's like a big signboard for anyone that has, let's say, the DOM, right? If you know what the DOM is, depth of market. If you trade futures, or for those futures traders, they know what that is. The depth of market. You see real orders in the market, right? I have a friend who trades futures, not friends per se. It's like I see him as a mentor because he's making millions. He uses the DOM. He trades only with the DOM, and he sees real orders coming into the market, right? Now, if at that level, let's expand. I'll make you Mr. Afisi. I'll make you a moderator, and then can you get rid of whoever is spamming for me, please? I don't know how to ban him or her, but he did that on Wednesday, and I had to stop. Nearly kind of distracted me. But Mr. Fisi, I've made you a moderator on here, so help me get rid of the individual that is confused. For now I'm doing it, but if he does it again, help me to remove him or her. Okay, I've removed him. Next time if he does it, please help me to remove him. Anyway, as I was saying, this becomes like a big signboard, right? Telling someone who has the DOM, obviously, and they can see your orders residing above the high. Okay, it's like it's going to be because your position or their position up here is not going to be a small position, right? It's going to be a huge one. So it's like a big signboard saying, hello, I want to sell up here. And it's a big signboard up there in price, okay, for anyone that is a trader using the DOM. They can see that orders residing above the high, right? And that orders is calling anyone that has big money that, look, if you're looking to sell, I'll sell to you here. So come here, I'll sell it to you here. Okay, so if price is able to get there, then it's gonna trigger a big sell-off, because there's going to be a huge amount of orders sitting above this high. Okay, there's going to be a huge amount of orders sitting above that high. So because of that, if price is able to get up there, you just have to look for price action to support the idea. Right, it's a big signboard, and all you have to do is look at price action. Once price gets up here, all you need is to see certain things happen here, and then you join that big drop that is about to happen. All right, and then the same thing is there. So when we have price rate this low and then pushes higher, the same narrative is here. Big signboard, I'm looking to sell. Anyone wants to buy? And then if price gets there, boom, it goes up. So this is how you anticipate stop rates, and I've given you, some explanation to understand what is actually happening. It might not be the same, but it works. So that's my brainwashing talk to myself. Now let me show you examples. That dollar CAD example is typical here. Look at this low here, right? And like I said, sometimes it can just be a single candle. This one, okay, but what I was using was this. So we have that low taken. So you can look at this way: 1, 2, 3, up. So they took out the stops. Someone did it. They intentionally sold up there to take down there to buy it up. So there's a big signboard below this low saying, if price gets here, I want to buy, or I want to sell. Anyone wants to do business? So if you extend this low out in time, if price gets there, then boom, that happens. Right? So in here, is where you want to find your entry. Go get it from downstairs. Go bring one from downstairs. Okay, sorry for that. So in here, that's where you're gonna you're welcome. That's where you're gonna look for your entries. Now, what I do for entry is that, first of all, right, the rejection, there needs to be a rejection. That rejection has to come back and close above the low. It needs to come back. So after taking out that low, so let me draw it here so you can see. If it comes here, right, it needs to reject and close back above. Okay, it doesn't have to close below, it needs to close back above. So it needs to do this thing here, it needs to close back above. Now once it closes back above on the lower time frame, let's go 15, where is it? Here. Here. This is that low. So by the time this candle closes, right, this is how it look like. Okay, now think about what I just explained, because the narrative is that they've already taken stops here, so price is not supposed to come here. So if it does, well, it's a signboard saying they want to buy. So if it gets there, what I'm looking for is that this candle, the first candle that goes below it, needs to close back above, so it needs to reject. Once you see that drop down, wherever time frame you want to use, okay, drop down in time frame, you can look for OTE, you can look for an order block, you can look for anything that you understand in terms of buying, you can use it down here. Now what I do look for is the gap on the lower time frame. Okay, so in the lower time frame, I want to see the last gap that was there as price went below that low. Okay, and then I want to see price close in that gap first. So let me repeat, this is the low taken, price comes back down and it's gonna take out this low, no problem. If it does it, first thing I look for is I want to see price close back above. That's step one. When I see that, then I drop down to the lower time frame and then I identify where there is a gap, existing gap in the lower time frame. I want to see that gap closed in. So I want to see price go above it, close above it. Then from that moment, I look for any OTE, any other block that forms. I'm buying that, targeting highs, because that is going to trigger a reversal. Okay, so this gap here is the last gap on the 5. You can use whatever time frame that you want. Okay, it's subjective to you. So boom, pause right here. So we don't close above the gap until there. Until here, that candle, right? So from that moment, I'm bullish. That's OTE. That's a buy. This is OTE. That's also a buy. All going up, because when you do see this and that's your trade. Let me show you the one I took. I didn't take this one, I'm just using it to teach you. Let me show you the one I took on oil. Here. Now, as you do it over and over again, if you see it over time, you're gonna get confidence in it, and then you probably wouldn't wait for that gap to be closed in. Yeah. This is the rate. Boom. That is OTE. So you will learn more about it as you do it. Okay, so as soon as price went above it, straight away, boom, we formed an auto block. that's OTE. I went in using the bearish order block, so my sell was here, but my stop loss was above. There's an imbalance on the higher time frame. That's what price ran into. Let's check on the 1 hour. Here there was an imbalance in here, so it raided into that imbalance, so my stop loss was above that candle and my target was down here. So this was my trade. And down here. So if I go down to the, I think it was a 5, 15, 5. That was the trade. Selling here, stop loss there, and then targeting that low. Why? Let's go back to the 1 hour time frame. This high, okay, so think about the explanation that I gave. That high, I saw it like this, okay, so we've already rated, price went down, so we are not supposed to come back up here. So if price does, that's a potential sell, and then boom, price went down. Now on a chart, you can identify it easily by looking at wicks. Okay, now someone is asking what's the difference between a raid and a sweep. I look at wicks as raids, so I look at the wicks as raids. Sweep, I don't know sweep, I don't use sweep. I use raids. I use the wicks, so if it goes below and it doesn't close below and it comes back up, to me that's a raid. I don't know the difference between the sweep and the raid. I just use raids as in the candle, price going for a high and not closing above it and rejecting. I call it raid. It can be sweep, it can be raid, I don't know, but whatever happens, it does give results, so that's what I use. Okay, so like for example this one, right, this one would be a raid, but let me show you how to anticipate these, the easy ones. Okay, the easy ones are going to be these ones, okay, where we have a wick and then we have another wick, right? So where we had a wick and then we have another wick, it's not like this one here, this and that. No, I'm not saying this and that. No, I'm saying we have a wick on one side and then we have another wick on the other side, right? When we have that, pay attention to that low, this low here. Pay attention to that, because that can trigger a rejection. So this one, it didn't close back above, so I wouldn't use it. Okay, let me see an example. So you're looking for a wick and a wick. Gold has lots of it because I've used it on gold several times, like this one here. Look at this one. This and that. So we have a wick here, and then price went above that wick right here. As soon as price goes above it, boom, very next candle, boom, rejection. You drop down to your lower time frame in here. You drop down to your lower time frame, whichever time frame you want to use. 5, 15, gap closed in, done. We're bearish. You want to sell short, right? Wick here, wick. I actually took this trade last week because I already anticipated a raid on this low anyway. That's a previous day's low. It's an up candle low, so I already anticipated that, but it had this wick. Watch the close of that candle right here. This candle, it rejects and then close back, right? So in here, drop down to a lower time frame. So you have to use what makes sense to you. You can look for breaking market structure, you can look for the gap, you can look for an auto block. I have, experience with it, so whatever happens in there, I know what to do. Okay, I can use the gap, I can use the auto. If I see it with a nice swing low, so this rejection here, what I want, the perfect ones are going to be like the one I showed you on oil. Those are the perfect ones. The ones that as soon as it goes above it, it does something like this. It creates a swing high and big candle like that. That is the best ones. Okay, so if we do have the high and the high price goes above it, and then straight away it rejects and it forms this, man, look for a big drop to happen. And then the opposite side is true when you have here, there was a lot of back and forth, so I'll use this gap here. So once this gap is closed in, I'm looking for buy, and I bought, I think, the next day in London. I bought, not here, I didn't catch it. Yeah, I bought in here in London, and you see price push up. There you go. That was sorry, my bad. London was here. Yeah, I bought in here. OT. And I think if you were around, we were looking for this high as a draw on liquidity, and that's where price went. Okay, so in conclusion, you go and find examples, because what I've just given you, it's incredible. Okay, you just need to understand how and where. Okay, so on your chart, initially, for now, look for the ones that are far away. Okay, so what I mean by far away is like this. Look for the ones that are far away. So you have a high and then have a high, right? Okay, right, look for a high and a high like that with the wick. that's the ones for now. Use that one because they're very candle. These ones can be a little bit complicated. Okay, if you don't understand, it might chop you into bits. So don't use that one. Use the ones that are far away from each other. So for example, this one, this low and that low, right? You can use that. Okay, you can use this one, wick. You can also use this one, wick. Okay, the ones that are far away, not the individual ones like say this one. Don't use these ones, because if you use that and you don't understand what you're doing, it's gonna murder you. Okay. So yesterday there was one on dollar. So I was anticipating a reversal here. It did reject, but what I was looking for didn't happen. Okay, so the rule is it has to close back above, and that didn't happen, right? So I didn't do anything with that. Right, that's another thing you need to consider. If you're going to use it, there's rules. You can't just look for the price to go below it and then straight away you buy. That's not how it's done. Okay. I think if you look at Euro Pound, there was one here on the H4. Where is it? Here, which was what I was anticipating. I wanted to see them raid. So for those of you that are in my private group, yesterday when I was talking about potentially price coming up here, this is what I had in mind. Okay, that if it drops, it's just gonna be a stop rate, and then it's gonna take it up. Okay. Let me see if I can find more examples. This one can be an example of the single candle, right? But it's a complicated one. You need to know what you're doing. Okay, so this is higher than that, so it rejected that. So you can see just that candle right here, these two candles, you can view it as this, and then price comes above it, reject in here, lower time frame sell. But it's complicated, so don't do that for now. Okay, just do what I've showed you. Like this one is not bad, this one and that. So it's a wick, and then we have another wick, and then price comes below that, and then it closes back above. Boom, that's a trade. So if I drop down to the if I drop down to the 5, five is not 15 is not looking great. I'll drop down to the 5. There you go, right here. That's your buy. So if I go back to the H4 again, I'm gonna take out one more candle so you can see how it does it. So drop down to the 5. So at this point, we've not closed in any gap yet, right? So I'm gonna hit play. Right there, we've closed above it, so I'll start looking for my buy. Probably here I would have get nicked. They would have stopped me out here, because I'll use this low to this high and then buy OTE. I'll leave my stop loss below that, and they would have stopped me out, and I would look for another buy again, and that would have paid out. Created another gap and close that in, down candle, boom, that's your buy, and then you go. Okay, so that's my gift for you for this morning, for staying for that long. What time did I start? 8? Did I start at 8? Oh wow, I don't know why I started at 8. I was meant to start at 9:30. That's why I felt so weird this morning. It just dawned on me that I started too early today. Oh well, I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, my son is on holidays, that's why I started early. But I woke up and then I felt like I need to start a live session at 8, because I went to bed like at 4 a.m. and I did set my alarm for 7:45 to wake up and obviously look at London. But when I woke up, I think I felt disorientated. I was confused. So as soon as I woke up, it was 10 minutes to 8, and I rushed to the bathroom, get myself ready, and then I started a live session without thinking that, my live session starts at 9:30. Wow. This is what happens when you are on autopilot, right? This is definitely not good. I feel like a robot right now, because I've been doing this over and over and over again. It just happened natural. I didn't even think. Power of your subconscious mind. Okay, that's me done for the day. Any question? Ooh. Any questions so far? All right, perfect. There is no question, so I will touch base with you guys on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we will have a session, but it's going to be a different session altogether. So expect some surprises. Alright, expect some surprises. And then we are heading towards September, so you guys should make use of the time I've made available to you guys, because if we hit September, I mentioned that I will have to see what I can do alternatively, right? So make good use of the time that you have with me. Ask any question that you want, and if I can, I'll answer you. Okay, so have a wonderful day, enjoy the weekend, have time with your family, always be happy, smile, right? Don't take life too serious. I'll see you next week.